Ever wondered how some of Hollywood's brightest stars fell from grace? Fame, fortune, and the bright lights of the silver screen can make dreams come true, but for some, it all came crashing down. So what went wrong? In today's video, we'll dive into the dark side of fame, exploring how the pressure of stardom led some of Hollywood's most iconic figures to spiral out of control. From early success to dramatic downfalls, these stories are as shocking as they are heartbreaking. Get ready to uncover the untold tales of how fame broke some of the greatest stars in Hollywood's history. You won't believe what happened next. The price of fame, a double-edged sword. The allure of fame in Hollywood was often irresistible. The dream of being adored by millions, enjoying wealth, and living a life of luxury seemed within reach for those lucky enough to land a coveted spot in the movie industry. However, as much as fame brought wealth and success, it came at a high personal cost for many stars. For most of the stars of old Hollywood, the pressure to maintain an image of perfection, meet constant public scrutiny, and deal with the manipulative control of studio executives was overwhelming. Instead of fostering creativity, the pressures of fame squeezed out their individuality and humanity. They were, in many ways, commodified and controlled by the very industry that had elevated them. Marilyn Monroe, the fragility behind the blonde bombshell. Few stars epitomize the destructive side of fame like Marilyn Monroe. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, Monroe became one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history. Known for her stunning beauty, unforgettable voice, and sultry screen presence, she seemed to have it all. But beneath her radiant exterior, Monroe was battling deep personal issues. Her fame was built on a carefully crafted persona, the dumb blonde, who captured hearts and made millions at the box office. But in reality, Marilyn Monroe was far from the carefree, innocent figure she portrayed on screen. She struggled with depression, substance abuse, and an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Constantly hounded by the media and trapped in a world where her worth was defined by her looks, Monroe couldn't escape the emotional toll of being a public figure. Marilyn's personal life was plagued with failed marriages, heartbreak, and a longing for stability that she never found. The pressures of fame, coupled with her fragile mental health, led to her tragic overdose in 1962 at the age of 36. Monroe's story is a haunting reminder of how fame can consume a person, leaving them with little room for genuine human connection or self-identity. James Dean, the rebel without a cause who lost his own. James Dean was another of old Hollywood's brightest stars whose life was tragically cut short. His legacy as the brooding, misunderstood rebel in Rebel Without a Cause made him an icon of teen angst. But the fame that followed him was a double-edged sword that contributed to his untimely death. Dean's appeal stemmed from his ability to portray vulnerability and rebellion, but his private life was far from the image of the carefree actor who captivated audiences. Dean, who was known for his intense commitment to his craft, found himself constantly torn between his love for acting and the pressure to conform to Hollywood's demands. He struggled with his identity as a public figure, often grappling with his deep fears of inadequacy and self-doubt. The immense fame that came with his success was something Dean could not handle. A passionate and restless spirit, he was not made for the rigid, artificial world of Hollywood. The constant intrusion into his personal life, compounded by his inner turmoil, left him increasingly disconnected from the world around him. James Dean's tragic end came in 1955 when he was just 24 years old. He died in a car crash while driving his Porsche 550 Spider, an event that became almost mythic in its tragedy, marking the end of a promising career and life. Judy Garland, from child star to tragic icon. Judy Garland's story is one of the most heartbreaking in the history of Hollywood. Known for her portrayal of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, Garland was a beloved child star whose talent and charm made her a household name. But her early exposure to fame left scars that would haunt her for the rest of her life. Garland's journey into Hollywood was fraught with hardship. As a young girl, she was signed by MGM, where the studio pressured her to lose weight, take pills to stay awake, and rely on amphetamines to get through grueling work hours. This early abuse of substances laid the foundation for Garland's lifelong struggles with addiction and mental health issues. Fame, which was supposed to bring joy and success, instead made her a prisoner of Hollywood's expectations. Throughout her career, Garland's personal life became a public spectacle. Her marriages were tumultuous, her relationships with her children strained, and her health deteriorated as she battled addiction to prescription drugs and alcohol. Despite her incredible talent and her beloved status as an entertainer, she could never escape the dark side of fame. Garland's struggles with mental health, financial issues, and personal relationships overshadowed her public persona. She passed away at the age of 47 in 1969, leaving behind a legacy of both remarkable achievement and profound tragedy. Her story serves as a painful reminder of how fame can push even the most talented individuals to their breaking point. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood who faced personal tragedy. Clark Gable, often referred to as the King of Hollywood, was the epitome of masculinity and charm. Known for his iconic role in Gone with the Wind, Gable was one of the most celebrated and highest-paid actors of his time. Yet despite his outward success, fame took a personal toll on him. Gable's early life was marked by hardship and loss, including the death of his mother when he was just a child. These experiences shaped his complex personality and gave him the emotional depth that audiences admired in his performances. However, as he ascended to stardom, Gable's personal life became riddled with heartbreak. He married 5 times, and his relationships were often strained. His third wife, actress Carole Lombard, was the love of his life, but she tragically died in a plane crash in 1942, which devastated Gable. He never fully recovered from her death, and the loss deepened his sense of loneliness and sadness. Although he continued to work in Hollywood, he was never the same after Lombard's passing. Gable's fame also brought constant scrutiny from the public and the press, making it difficult for him to have any semblance of privacy. His pain became an open book for the world to read, and the pressure of maintaining his image took a toll on his mental health. Elizabeth Taylor, beauty, fame, and a life of turmoil. Few Hollywood stars are as closely associated with glamour and drama as Elizabeth Taylor. Known for her striking beauty, violet eyes, and legendary acting talent, Taylor was one of the most adored actresses of her time. She was a screen icon whose talent earned her 2 Academy Awards and countless accolades. Yet, Taylor's personal life was filled with turmoil that was often overshadowed by her public persona. Taylor's career was built on roles in films like Cleopatra, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and she captivated audiences with her commanding presence and passionate performances. However, her off-screen life was often marked by chaos. Her marriages became the subject of intense public fascination, and she was married 8 times to 7 different men, including the famous actor Richard Burton. Her relationship with Burton was legendary for its tumultuous nature, and the constant public attention only added to the pressures they faced as a couple. Taylor was known to battle with addiction to painkillers and alcohol, and the stress of living under the microscope of Hollywood took a toll on her health and well-being. The highs of fame and wealth were frequently offset by personal struggles, with Taylor herself admitting that fame had its price. In the later years of her life, Taylor continued to struggle with her health, battling multiple illnesses. However, she ultimately found solace in her humanitarian efforts, dedicating much of her time to HIV/AIDS awareness and fundraising. Despite her struggles, Taylor's legacy is one of resilience, and she remains one of Hollywood's most iconic and tragic figures. Jean Harlow, the blonde bombshell whose star died too soon. Jean Harlow, known as the original blonde bombshell, was a celebrated star of the 1930s. With her platinum blonde hair, sultry voice, and seductive screen presence, Harlow became one of the most popular actresses of her era. She starred in films such as Red Dust, Hell's Angels, and The Public Enemy, quickly rising to fame with her ability to captivate audiences and ignite the imaginations of moviegoers. However, Jean Harlow's rise to fame was not without cost. The pressures of the Hollywood studio system, her grueling work schedule, and the demands of maintaining her image as the quintessential sex symbol took a heavy toll on her health. In her early years in Hollywood, Harlow suffered from intense stress and physical exhaustion, which ultimately led to health issues that would shorten her life. In 1937, at the young age of 26, Harlow was diagnosed with kidney failure and passed away shortly after. Her death shocked the world, and her untimely passing only cemented her legacy as a tragic figure in Hollywood history. Although her career was brief, Harlow's impact on Hollywood's portrayal of women and beauty remains undeniable, yet her story highlights how the relentless demands of fame can often come at a tragic cost. Vivian Leigh, beauty and mental struggles behind the fame. Vivian Leigh, best known for her unforgettable portrayal of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, was another star whose fame came at a high personal cost. With her stunning beauty and remarkable acting talent, Leigh became an icon of the golden age of Hollywood. Her performance in Gone with the Wind earned her an Academy Award, and she was widely admired for her elegance and poise. However, behind her flawless exterior, Leigh struggled with mental health issues that were exacerbated by the pressures of fame. Leigh had long battled bipolar disorder, a condition that led to mood swings and episodes of deep depression. These struggles were largely hidden from the public eye, and her mental health was often overshadowed by her glamorous on-screen persona. Her relationship with actor Laurence Olivier, which began as a passionate love affair, eventually deteriorated under the strain of her mental health issues. Leigh's emotional struggles and the pressures of being a public figure led to her frequent hospitalizations, and her health continued to decline throughout her life. She died in 1967 at the age of 53, having spent her final years dealing with both personal and physical battles. Leigh's story is a poignant reminder of the fragility of fame and the human cost of living in the spotlight. The studio system, controlling lives for the sake of profit. Much of the anguish faced by old Hollywood's greatest stars can be attributed to the rigid studio system that dominated the film industry during the Golden Age. Under this system, stars were not free agents. Instead, they were controlled by the major studios, which dictated every aspect of their personal and professional lives. From contracts to appearances, relationships to hairstyles, the studios held an immense amount of power over their stars. This control often resulted in stars being molded into perfect, marketable images that had little to do with their real selves. For example, stars like Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland were often pushed to conform to the desires of the studio, whether that meant altering their appearance, taking dangerous substances to maintain their weight or energy, or suppressing their true personalities to fit a specific screen persona. The pressure to maintain an image of perfection was immense, and it left many stars feeling trapped and exploited. This led to breakdowns, addiction, and emotional turmoil for many. The studios, prioritizing profits over the well-being of their stars, played a central role in creating an environment where fame was more about selling an image than nurturing the individual behind the camera. The lives of old Hollywood's greatest stars serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame. While the world may have adored them, fame ultimately took a significant toll on their personal lives. The pressure to maintain an image of perfection, the constant invasion of privacy, and the emotional struggles that came with living under the public's watchful eye left many of Hollywood's brightest stars broken and alone. The legacy of these stars is a reminder that fame, while often glamorous, is not without its shadows. The glitz and glitter of Hollywood may dazzle, but the price of living in the spotlight is often far higher than what we see on screen. Their stories of brilliance, struggle, and ultimate tragedy should encourage us to think more deeply about the nature of fame and the cost it exacts on those who live under its glare. How could these stars, once on top of the world, lose it all? It's a tragic reminder of the cost of fame. If you were shocked by their stories, just wait until you hear what happened to the next legend on our list. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more unbelievable Hollywood tales. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.